Wrapping and turning over all the black clumps of soil on the ground is the daily task of this aluminum belt soil turning machine. The purpose is to prevent these black clumps from sticking together. Of course, this is not ordinary soil, but non-renewable peat soil. It is not only a natural fertilizer for plants, but can also be used as a combustible fuel. Generally, peat soil only exists in marshlands. After workers use excavators to dig it up, there are two ways to handle it. One way is to load it onto peat trucks and transport it to flat areas to make peat soil strips. Another way is to use machines to dig holes and directly compress the excavated peat soil into strips, piling them up nearby. Regardless of the method used, to facilitate the transportation of peat soil, it needs to be naturally air-dried in the end. The machine you saw at the beginning of the video is the second machine used in the first method. Before that, the peat truck will press the peat soil to the pipe mouth, laying the peat soil in strips on the ground. The rod that follows will segment them into blocks. After completing this step, the peat soil will be naturally air-dried. During this process, to prevent the peat soil from sticking to the ground, the aluminum belt soil turning machine will be used to stir it periodically. At the front of the machine is a conveyor belt that rotates while moving close to the peat soil, collecting it up, and then it falls back to the ground. Once the peat soil is completely dry, collection trucks will come to gather it and send it to the market.
2 rows of spiked iron rods drive across the farmland, removing all the stones in the soil. This is the incredible farm stone picker. The working principle is very simple. A tractor pulls the stone picker behind it. On each side of the stone picker, there is a foldable iron rod covered with iron spikes. When in operation, the 2 iron rods open at a certain angle and rotate at high speed close to the ground, pushing the stones up and gradually concentrating them in the middle. Once the stones are gathered in the middle, they are conveyed inside by rotating clockwise, capable of handling stones up to 50 centimeters in diameter. Additionally, smaller stones are also collected during this process, and these stones do not affect crop growth. Therefore, the stone storage tray is designed with holes, allowing smaller stones to fall back into the soil through the gaps. When the tray is full, the machine controls the bin to tilt backward, dumping the stones directly into the transport vehicle. Using this machine to clear stones from farmland can clean up 50 acres per hour. However, if you need to clear larger stones, you can switch to this stone picker. Drive the machine towards the stone on the ground and pass over it. The 3 rows of tines on the drum will continuously rotate, pushing the stones into the bin, giving you a clean and flat farmland.
Pay attention. Several tires are spinning in place like a carousel, but without people sitting on it, only machines continuously moving in the area. Upon close inspection, it's not hard to see that it has a total of 4 horizontal bars, with each end of each bar fitted with 2 car tires, capable of reaching a maximum speed of 100 km/h. What is this for? It is called an accelerated pavement testing facility. Its main job is to test the quality of road surfaces. It's important to know that road quality can't be assessed in just a day or two. It takes at least several decades, along with tens of thousands of vehicles driving over it. If the road quality is not up to standard, the road surface needs to be repaved, which is very troublesome. Therefore, this fatigue carousel was invented. It can simulate decades of road traffic in just a few short months. The principle is very simple. First, a small circular test road section is laid on an empty piece of land, and after installing the fatigue carousel, testing can begin. From the extent to which the tires press down on the ground, it's not hard to see that the weight of these horizontal bars is very heavy and can be adjusted as needed, with a maximum weight up to 8.5 kilos. After rotating and compressing for a few months, if the road surface quality is up to standard, it will be widely applied to urban roads. Additionally, there is a type of straight road measuring machine, a device weighing several tons supported by 2 tires, moving back and forth on a straight track, which can also help people check road quality. Have you ever imagined a wheel that can cut through reinforced concrete in the blink of an eye? This giant wheel is spinning at high speed against the reinforced concrete, instantly shredding the hard surface. This is the incredible Canrock DMW cutter wheel, a revolutionary invention in excavation technology. Its main job is to dismantle hard structures, and if necessary, it can even cut through mountains. Before this invention, buckets were the primary tool for demolishing structures, but their efficiency was not high. When faced with complex structures, buckets couldn't handle the job, hence the creation of this cutting wheel. Its outer edge is equipped with hard alloy cutting blades that can cut through various materials, including rock, concrete, and steel. When cutting against the concrete surface, it first slices the surface into equally small sections. Then the excavator is controlled to target the gaps and lift them up, removing a complete section of the surface. Moreover, it has a unique safety system to prevent it from getting stuck during the cutting process. The maximum cutting depth can reach 1200 millimeters, and due to its ultra-high cutting efficiency, technology, it can also be used as a mining tool. Notably, its installation is very convenient, allowing for easy switching between two devices. After finishing cutting on one side, simply move the mechanical arm to the top of the cutting wheel, align with the device port, and press down to continue the cutting work.
Have you ever imagined that a small yellow car can easily move 100-kilogram barrier stones from one side of the road to the other in just a moment? A small yellow car drives by and can easily move 100-kilogram barrier stones from one side of the road to the other, improving traffic congestion. How is this possible? During rush hours, the traffic flow on both sides of the road is very different. One side is clear, while the other is often congested. At this time, a road divided by yellow lines or barriers is obviously unreasonable. Therefore, we have the scene seen at the beginning of the video. The yellow vehicle drives along the barrier, easily moving it 3 meters to one side, expanding an additional lane for the congested direction and reducing road pressure. The reason it can easily move the 100-kilogram stones is that the bottom of the car is equipped with 2 rows of rollers with a certain slope from front to back. When the front rollers clip onto the groove on the barrier, they move the barrier upwards and backward along the slope with the rotation of the rollers. When it is about to reach the designated position, the rollers slope downwards, placing the stones down. It can move 15 barrier stones at a time, with a maximum speed of 15 km/h. With this vehicle, it is easy to cope with changes in traffic flow. Of course, if adding one lane is not enough, another lane can be added without affecting the opposite lane. How amazing is that?
Have you ever wondered how astronauts prepare before they fly into space? Clearly, astronauts are about to venture into space, but first, they must be immersed in a pool for training. Do they need to dive in space too? In reality, this is a type of training called neutral buoyancy. Staff will place a 1.1 scale model of the space station in the water. When the astronaut enters the water, the amount of water displaced by the astronaut will be equal to their weight. This way, the astronaut in the water will neither float up nor sink down, but instead, they will be suspended in the water to simulate a weightless environment. This helps astronauts master the skills of movement and posture in a zero-gravity state. Notably, the weight of the spacesuit alone can reach up to 200 kilograms. When entering the pool, the suit will definitely sink. Therefore, air is pumped into the suit to increase buoyancy until neutral buoyancy is achieved. This allows astronauts to simulate actions such as exiting the module and performing repairs. A single neutral buoyancy experiment lasts from 5 to 7 hours. During this period, astronauts cannot eat or surface. The difficulty lies here. Astronauts will have to expend a lot of physical energy, equivalent to running a marathon. After training, their weight can drop by 1 kilogram. From start to finish, the pressure that astronauts endure is immense. Don't think that having sophisticated modern equipment and staff support makes it easy. In fact, the most crucial factor is the astronaut themselves. It is this unwavering spirit that helps us understand more about outer space. Do you want to become an astronaut?
Machinery is gradually replacing humans in various fields. Haven't you noticed? Take a look at this machine. The one with a special spiral shaft is a sugarcane harvester. It can neatly cut down 3-meter-high sugarcane right on the spot. What's even more remarkable is that after harvesting, the sugarcane is automatically cut into equally sized segments. Once a truck is filled, the sugarcane is transported directly to the sugar processing plant to be used as raw material. The working efficiency of this machine is extremely high. In just 1 hour, it can harvest tons of sugarcane. This is thanks to its special harvesting equipment. During the harvesting process, the cutting device at the front of the driver will remove the unnecessary tops of the sugarcane. The spiral shafts at the front are responsible for gathering the sugarcane, continuously rotating and feeding them into the cutting device below. Here, the sugarcane is cut close to the base, then pushed and compressed inside the machine by the roller in the middle. The cutting blades mounted on the roller continuously rotate, cutting the sugarcane into equal segments. The juice produced during this process is blown out by a fan on top of the machine. All the devices work closely together, making sugarcane harvesting very easy. Additionally, there is another type of harvesting machine with an exaggerated shape, mainly used for harvesting corn. By simply driving with the large shovel at the front, the machine gathers the corn into the shovel slot. At this point, the side cutting head continuously grinds the corn, and the corn kernels are squeezed out and transferred into the container at the back.
Even encountering a 1-meter-high boulder wouldn't stop it. You should know that we've introduced many versatile vehicles before, but when I saw this one, I realized that this was the most special. It's none other than the ultimate all-terrain vehicle, the Sharp TV. Its exterior is quite unique, with 4 large inflatable tires and very small gaps between them. The tire surface is also longer than regular tires, allowing the vehicle to move on water. This massive tire cluster provides buoyancy for the vehicle, and as it rotates, the tire surface creates water waves, pushing the vehicle forward. Its designer once said that the Sharp TV can practically take you anywhere you want to go. Even if you're driving on ice, you don't need to worry about the ice breaking, because it won't let you sink into the water but continue moving until returning to the ice. This is thanks to its tires, whose internal pressure can be adjusted. When navigating rugged terrain, the tire pressure is reduced to make them softer. When moving on runways or on water, the tire pressure is increased. Not only that, this vehicle doesn't have a steering wheel. The direction is controlled by 2 crossbars. Pulling the left crossbar turns left and vice versa, and you don't have to worry about the quality of the tires. Even if you roll over several times on high-centimeter steel nails, they won't puncture. Place the foam board on the heated wire, and it will be melted and cut into equally sized cubes. What is this doing? Not only can it cut a single foam board, but even if several foam boards are stacked together, they will first be cut by the upper horizontal wire due to their own weight, and then by the lower vertical wire, finally turning into cubes and falling down. This is not making foam, but processing old foam. The fallen foam cubes will be poured on top again to be cut repeatedly until they become small shreds. It is worth mentioning that this hot cutting method is also used when making some foam models. The only difference is the machine used, which is a vertical hot wire foam cutting machine. Initially, workers need to edit the program on the computer, then place a large enough foam block on the cutting platform. After starting the machine, 2 vertical controls will pull a heated metal wire, moving and cutting the foam according to the programmed route. The foam models made this way are very precise. Additionally, there is a tool called a hot knife, specifically invented for foam sculpture enthusiasts. On 1 or more foam blocks, after drawing the cutting lines according to the desired model shape, the hot knife is powered and heated to a certain temperature, then aligned with the marked lines for cutting. This is similar to carving wood. Foam sculptures made with this tool are not only beautiful, but also precise. How about that? Isn't it amazing? In front of us isn't a pile of dirt, but freshly harvested sugar beets from the soil. The farm owner is using a large machine to complete the final stacking task. Prior to this, he needs to harvest the sugar beets by driving the professional harvesting machine through. The sugar beets originally buried deep in the soil have been harvested. The strange thing is, the leaves that used to grow on the sugar beets have completely disappeared. How is this achieved? Upon careful observation, it's not difficult to recognize that the front part of the machine is its harvesting unit. It consists of 2 parts. The front part is the leaf removal unit with a cutting blade attached to a hook-like structure. When in contact with the sugar beet, it hugs the sugar beet from top to bottom and cuts with the cutting blade, always maintaining the same plane. This allows for the completion of leaf removal without damaging the sugar beet. Next is the cutting out conveying device. It consists of 2 clamps, with the clamps constantly vibrating and lifting. The clamps will tightly grip the sugar beet from within the soil and pull it out, then feed it onto the conveyor shaft at the back. Here, the sugar beets will move upwards and the accompanying soil will be shaken off, falling into the gap and back onto the ground. A harvesting machine has a total of 12 sets of such harvesting and cutting out devices, resulting in very high harvesting efficiency. In just 1 hour, they can harvest a large quantity of sugar beets. Isn't that wonderful?